Welcome to Food, Wine, and Whiskey, a podcast about having fun conversations on tasty dishes, vinos, and spirits from around the world. Rob is your host. He is an avid home chef, WSET Level 2 award in wine, and a whiskey drinker and collector. Time to set the table. Here's Rob.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. We are out and about to an area we've been before. It's been several months, but we were back in mid-Missouri and hanging out at the Boars Nest. And got a big thank you to Jason and your wife for having us out and letting us come out and enjoy some great food. Do you get credit for that? Who gets credit for that?
None at all. I did nothing but sit at the bar, and Martha smoked everything up and prepared everything, brought it all out, and
delicious.
Here we are. Yeah. Glad you're here, Rob. Glad you're back.
This is man, when we come up to this part of the country, we absolutely love coming to your place. I mean, this is just it's a bar.
Yes.
I mean, let's just be honest. It's a bar. It's a
100%.
neighborhood bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got it stashed pretty well with all kinds of whiskeys and bourbons and beers, and everybody in the community is welcome to come out and hang out and have a good time.
Yep. Everybody has a code to the door. They can come out, and oftentimes I show up out here, and my buddies Ken and a few other are waiting for me when I get here. So yeah, it's always open to
Ken
friends.
doesn't just come on in?
No, he does.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying. He's usually here waiting for me.
With something in the glass.
Something that he's picked up off the shelf, yes.
Well, I want to give a big shout out, a big thanks to Sweet Boone Designs. I mean, we're going to drink some whiskeys tonight. We're going to go through some Wild Turkey products, and we've got some great glasses, some great Glencairns that we're going to drink out of. We've got the Food, Wine, and Whiskey logo on there, and big shout out to them. Big thanks for doing this. This has been awesome. They look great, and we also got some great hats, man.
Yeah,
so big
cool.
thanks to them for doing that.
They're great stuff. They're the ones that did the Boars Nest logo, and you and I talked about it, and it's Martha's sister, and they look great, man.
Absolutely.
I like the logo.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate them doing that. Just fantastic. So.
Good.
All right, fellas, you guys ready for the introduction?
I think so.
Good to go. We've got Brant, been on the show before when we were up here about 7 or 8 months ago. Welcome back, Brant.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Can I call you new to the bourbon world? You know,
in the last year or so.
Kind of on your journey in bourbon?
Right in the middle of it.
How does tonight rank with, I've seen you have a few pours, Ethan. Ethan's on the show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
You've had a few pours already.
A couple.
Where do these pours rank with, what you want to drink, what your, kind of these unicorn pours that you'd like to be able to sample? Have you gotten through a few that you're going, damn, I'm drinking some good stuff tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a few
pretty
checks
high.
off the list?
We got a few checks off the list for sure.
Okay.
Oh, wow,
Anything that's still on the table that, before the night's done, you want to...
That's what I was just trying to think about.
Okay.
I haven't got a full glass of that barrel proof yet. That Elijah Craig that you poured from forever ago, what'd you say, 15 years ago?
Batch 12, yeah.
That was some funky stuff.
Yeah.
It was delicious. Yeah, no, I think the Elijah Craig barrel proof probably number one on that list. Old Carter rye that I saw you sneak in over there.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. We do have one that we're going to open in a little bit from Texas.
Yeah.
Iron Root. They just released this. It's supposed to be a really fantastic pour. It's their Scar blend, and it's supposed to be really, really good. So I'm excited to never had it, and it's a brand new bottle, just came out a few days ago. So I thought we'd bring it up here, pop it with you guys, and see what we all think about it. I'll be honest and tell you, I've never had a cigar blend at all. Have you all?
No.
I know that Joseph Magnum's.
That's the only thing I've seen
it.
advertised. No, haven't ever had a pour of it though. So,
and I saw the pipes. So you guys are into the tobacco. So this flavor profile should hit a little bit with you guys. I would hope.
Yeah. So we have a gob of pipes out here. I usually try to give everybody their own. I know the Fords are some of the first people that did pipes with me way back in the day, and so yeah, we do quite a bit of pipe tobacco and cigars and everything. So this ought to be good.
So our topic for discussion tonight, we're going to drink through some Wild Turkey product. Brant, you and I were talking a little bit, and you said you hadn't had a lot of picks from the Russell Reserve single barrel. So I brought 4 different picks that we can sample through. A couple of these are these older ones that still have those neck tag labels. And then a couple newer ones from some really good liquor stores that are pretty well known nationally, which is Benny's out of Chicago, and then Lincoln Package Company over in Mississippi do a great job. So we'll taste a few of those, and then we've got the rare breed non-chill filter, that liter release, and then we have the standard shelf that we see. I think it'd be fun for you guys to kind of see the difference. Because Rare Breed, one of my favorite pours of all time, fantastic bourbon, but I'm curious what you guys are going to think when you get this non-chill filtered version of that, if you're a fan of Rare Breed. And is everybody a fan of Rare Breed here at the table?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep. Okay.
Great stuff.
And then we have a couple fun ones. I don't know if you guys have ever had the Rickhouse series. If you've had one of those, they've only got a couple of those that have come out so far.
I have not.
And then the Russell's Reserve 13. You guys had any of that?
I may have just
You
accidentally.
guys are going to be
had a pour of that.
absolutely
Yeah,
drunk before we're done with it.
That's the plan, man.
Yeah.
You brought out some great stuff.
But what we're going to start with is a Wild Turkey 101, just a nice, easy proof. This is from 2001. So this is before they changed everything over. You get some of that old juice that you had. You won't get any more. This is gone. So we'll give everybody a little bit of that.
Even the bottle's really cool. It's like really nostalgic. I mean,
Yeah, the old label
yeah,
and
the old
everything.
label. You know, you and I were talking earlier about even old movies and stuff where they had them on the shelf, and you're like, wow, everybody kind of overlooked them, but now everybody's looking for them.
Yeah, these are what they call, dusties, right? Because
Yeah.
back in the day, they just sit on the shelf and collect dust, and
Yeah.
nobody was buying them. But to your point, yeah, everybody's looking for them now. And, this was probably a $25 bottle back in the day, 20 years ago. And now if you get it on secondary, it's north of, $200, $300, $400, something like that.
And
So-
anybody would be happy to have it too. So it's great stuff.
And again, you're drinking history, right? That's what's fun about a lot of this stuff is that you're drinking something that was made and won't ever be made again this way, So cheers, guys.
Cheers to the new glasses, everything.
So curious what you guys think about this. Curious if you think it's different than, I don't know how often you drink Wild Turkey 101. Is
Wow.
that a regular pour? For me, that's kind of a go-to for me. Wild Turkey 101 is, $20. You can't beat it. Just having it behind the bar and being able to just have a little bit all the time. Any thoughts?
It's good. It's a little bit warm on the back end. I mean, I think it's good.
More so than the 101 you'll get off the shelf now. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
I felt so.
To me, I get that cherry is just big and up front on this. It's just, that's what I like about this one.
It's not like I remember, I guess, because
Yeah.
you don't drink it like you did back in the day. So
Yeah. But fun little pour to
Ethan, what do you
start
think?
with. Like
I think
said,
my
drinking
first
a little
thought
bit.
is it's better than a lot of the expensive stuff that it's really good. I mean, I've had a lot of expensive bottles that are not as good as that.
Well, and that's-
which is surprising to me, given.
And we're in this world of bourbon right now where, all of us know this, that it's crazy. And everybody's chasing all these allocated bottles, whether it's Weller or the Buffalo Trace collections, E.H. Taylor's. And I tell a lot of my friends, I think you and I talked about
We've
this,
talked about
Ethan.
that before, for
I'm
sure.
like, hey, man, instead of chasing that and spending, $600-700, start just getting some of these older bottles that you can get for $200 or $300. And you're drinking, you can get some stuff that's, 70s and 80s and 90s for less than $500, and why wouldn't you do that?
yeah, it's really good, and it's kind of nostalgic too. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. And this is also kind of fun because a lot of people will do whiskey like they do wine sometimes, where it might be a birth year bottle, or it might be, an anniversary bottle. We got married in 97, so I want a bottle of, Rare Breed from 1997 or something like that. And every year on my anniversary, I have a sip of it or something. So you can do some fun stuff, that has some sentimental meaning behind it when you drink whiskeys and things like that.
I'm a little worried about you, Ethan, though, that if you have to drink through all this whole list here, but I'm not sure.
I'm
you're
doing
gonna
good.
make-
I'm actually kind of blown away by that, honestly. I mean, I spent a lot of money on a lot of worse bottles than that.
Yeah,
Because
very
when
good.
I was younger, you'd walk past that bottle.
I can remember my grandpa drinking that. I mean, that was something that, my
that's exactly
grandpa
what it
had.
was. Yeah,
that
you're
they would-
exactly right.
It was like a deer hunting. It was a special occasion type deal, but he would go buy a bottle of that, and that's
Yeah.
a lot better. I mean, like I said, I've spent money on a lot worse things.
So part of our conversation is we drink through some Wild Turkey product, and I feel like we got to get Brant to say a little more.
I know.
He's kind of quiet.
You know,
over
the
here.
last time he was just chirping away.
Yeah.
I gotta stay grounded because I got this golf tournament tomorrow. So my partner's here, and he knows that if I get tore up tonight, that I gotta show up.
Is he here
tomorrow.
to watch you to make sure you don't get tore up?
That's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Hey, but
He'll let me know about it.
We're teeing off about an hour and a half before you.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's essentially
But-
the same thing, too.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Brant,
The Ford tournament, the club championship. I
Yeah,
mean,
same money on the line.
same money.
I mean,
It's
these
the same
guys,
deal,
have-
yeah.
but their bragging rights, that carries over pretty well, I'm sure, in that family.
All right, so part of our conversation tonight is we're going to talk about, and this is very subjective, if you guys have a buddy, and I bet you do, who wants to get into bourbon a little bit, what would be the 5 bourbons that you would tell him to start with, or her to start with, to put on her bar? Like, hey, man, I want to build the home bar at home, and I want to start getting some bottles on there. Where would you have them start? So what we'll do is we'll give you a second. I know you guys were working on your list, and what we'll do is go our number, and it's not in any particular order, but typically what I'll do is, save what I think might be my best to last and just kind of work down. So put it in any order you want, but we'll go 5 to 1, and top 5 bourbons. And again, subjective. So you guys, whatever your criteria is for picking these bottles, you can kind of give us a little explanation why you picked these, what the criteria was, and give us those bottles. So anybody want to play leadoff hitter?
I'll lead off.
Okay, Ethan.
The only reason I'm leading off is because it was contentious whenever Jason and I were making small talk.
I think you picked my list.
I don't know. I didn't pick it. I don't think I can go 5 through 1.
I was wondering why you two were over there talking about it.
I think he was writing down everything I wrote down. I'm a little worried.
Was he looking over your shoulder?
Yeah, a little bit. Go ahead, Ethan.
Well, I think the first pick, I don't think I can go 5 through 1, but the thing that I started drinking and really...
Just start with your number 5. We'll go around the table.
Yep. I think number 5 would be Four Roses single barrel, just kind of right off the shelf.
Did you have some criteria when you were forming your list of what you were looking for, how you were trying to build these 5 bottles for this person?
I am lucky enough that this is all relative. I mean, within the last year or two, Brant's been fortunate, or I've been fortunate enough to have Brant to kind of hook me up with some bottles or go to Brant's and have some. But when I started buying my own stuff or trying things, that was one of the first things that I tried that I was like, man, that's really good. That's something that I could. That's not natural light. I could sit down, have a drink, enjoy that. And so that was the first bottle that I really remember buying that I enjoyed as a new guy, and one that I still drink.
And I think it's a great one to put on somebody's list for a couple of reasons. One is I think it's a great producer. I love Four Roses. But 2, it's that single barrel. So when you start talking about, whiskeys, and people who don't understand, single barrel means that's what it is. It's one barrel that got bottled. However many came out of that barrel, could be somewhere between 70 and 180 bottles, and it gets shipped off. So it's very unique. It has a profile. It should be fairly similar to what that recipe is, and when the one that's on the shelf all the time is always OBSV. So it's always going to be that recipe, but the profile can be a little bit different. A lot of times it can be based on age. It can be based on where it was in the rick house and things like that. But I love that because if you have one, you can't stop there. You got to get a second one so you can kind of have that comparison of how a single barrel can be different each time, which is completely different than something like a Wild Turkey 101 who builds this profile, blending different whiskeys that can be between 6 years and sometimes up to 12 years in there. That gives you this consistent profile. So I love the pick of a single barrel.
And it is similar, it is fun now that a year or two in, that you can kind of pick out some small differences. It's never huge differences, but it's enough to make it fun to go and buy another bottle.
Absolutely.
That's how I would describe that.
Yep.
That's really amazing that was the number 1 on my list too, though, Ethan. I'm just going to call you out right now. So
was it really, Jason?
Yeah, Four Roses. And my thoughts on Four Roses because you and I have had a little text
I think
back
it's a
and forth
pretty
about
contentious
that.
point, right?
Well, it was because, you came out hard and heavy there, Rob. When I said because Four Roses isn't one of my top bourbons. You go, whoa, why is that?
Yeah, you're wrong, is what I said.
Yeah, I was trying to soft shoe that a little bit, but boy, you just came right in there and said you're wrong. And I was like, wow. But I put it on my list because it's a good ease into bourbon and it's available. And so there's a lot of people besides me that really like Four Roses. Now, I'll drink it. It's just not, if I had a choice, it's not my top of the list, even though it was number 1 for this top 5 that you threw out our way.
Yeah. And the other thing that makes it cool is it is 100 proof. So it's not, it's not barrel proof. When you do the picks from them, then now you're getting the barrel proof, but this is consistently 100 proof. So to me, it's at a good proof point that you can drink as well. Go ahead, Brant. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say I'm an advocate for Four Roses single barrel as well. But the main reason is that, and you kind of talk about the beginners, and when I do have people over at the house, and it's somebody that is just getting introduced to bourbon and whiskey, and they say, hey, just give me a pour of something, that's one I can go to, and I know that they're gonna like it.
Yeah.
So, and I've not given that to an inexperienced whiskey or bourbon drinker that hasn't liked it. So that's why I like to go that direction with it.
Well, what's on your list? I'll let you be in
Well,
the 2-hole. What's?
And
I guess you're 3-hole because Jason said he's.
I think
You got-
Well, no,
number-
I'm about to go down the list. I mean, I got to add to it because Ethan was copying. But go ahead, Brant. What do you got there?
I was
bud?
just going to say there's two different ways that you kind of have to go after, what we're talking about here in the top 5, and you're talking about for a beginner. But it also has to be something where you say, is it attainable? Can they get this? Is it something they can go and get that's on the shelf? And if not, and these guys know that I'm an Elmer T. Lee fan, love Elmer T. Lee. So that would be one of the 5s that would be one of my go-tos. And I know that Ethan, he got me one night because he talked about getting a bottle from me on one. We got to playing cards one night and doing a little drinking. Next thing you know, it's like, well, Ethan's like, I've been wanting to get hold of one of these. I have one backup of it. And I got talked into selling it to Ethan that night. So
What a guy.
You sound
What
like
a guy.
yeah.
sounds like there's some regret there.
Well,
Well, I feel like I'm regretting because I wasn't in on the deal.
you were right there,
Jason
though.
watched it.
I did. I watched it go down.
So you're telling me
I got
Wow.
talked into
Elmer
it.
T. Lee's in your top 5?
Oh, in mine? Yeah.
No. For what you would recommend
Well-
to a person starting a bar.
It's the
'Cause
first thing-
I'm thinking you're going to have to gift that bottle to them
Yeah,
too.
you're going to
I
have to give it
know.
to him because you're not going to find out because I don't even have a bottle of it.
But I got a buddy of mine at the club, Bob Osmond. He and I, same thing. Came over one time, and somehow we popped into a bottle because he had never tried it, and he's not a big bourbon drinker, and just fell in love with it, and we just about polished off a bottle at that one sitting. So
I apologize. I'm
That
not
was-
at the same level as you. Could you mind passing the 10 high that I can sip on? Because
That was a
Elmer
while.
T. Lee's a little.
I don't
little out
see
of
it
my league
anymore
there,
either.
buddy.
I don't see it
Hey, I
anymore
will
either.
tell you, it's coming down. In secondary, that bottle would, 2 years ago, go for $350, $400 all the time, and now
Yeah.
you get it around
Good.
$200 a bottle. So
Good.
You can probably get a few.
The
of those
days
here
are coming.
pretty soon.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
That is something that he poured me, though, very early in this that I was like, oh, that's different.
I'll tell you
that's-
that the next time we come down, he says he loves Elmer T that much.
He does.
Well, he says he does. I want to come down and we're going to do a mash bill 2 blind with the Elmer T. Lee, the Rock Hill Farms, the Hancock Reserve, and the which one am I meant? Blanton's. Great Blanton's.
You told me about
all
that.
single barrels, and we'll do a blind, and we'll see if you pick out your Elmer T. Lee.
All right, I'm looking forward.
That'd be
to
fun
that.
to do with
Yeah.
That would be.
And Hedrick was over the other day, and we actually finished off a bottle. I had
I saw that. You sent a
Yeah.
picture.
a little bit of the Rock Hill Farms.
Boy,
I had
that
left
was
in one
good.
bottle. It's like you just can't find it anymore. I can't remember the last time I saw it. Even at some of the allocated events, you don't ever see that even as one of the
Yeah.
auction type items or anything like that.
It's
just
a
not out
very tough one to get.
there. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my top 5, I'm starting with what we started with in the glass tonight, which is wild turkey. And my approach, kind of what you mentioned, Brant, was I'm going to go for what I think are quality pours at a price point that people can afford. They don't feel like they're spending a lot of money to get into a bourbon and not like it. And I'm for the most part, there's one on my list that might be a little different, but trying to get you into what is that entry-level product for the big distilleries. Because I think if you can get into the big distilleries and get a sample of what they offer and find some profiles that you like, then you can start to kind of go through and see what offerings they have as you go up their portfolio a little bit. So that's kind of my approach with this. So Wild Turkey 101, I'm a huge fan of Wild Turkey, and I just think, again, we said it a minute ago, at $20, $25, depending on where you buy it, you just can't beat it for that price and what you're getting in a bottle. Again, 6 to 9 years, sometimes a little bit older juice in there. Mm-hmm. It's just quality stuff for that kind of price.
It's a good pour.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good.
So we're going to go snake. We'll come back with me coming back, and we'll do the snake method.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to take Jason's pick again, so.
I've
So,
got my,
yeah,
I've got my
this-
Yeah,
six
just
covered
out
up
of
now,
courtesy,
yeah.
just run it back that way, yeah.
But before we do that, why don't we?
let's take a-
you guys up for? Rare breed. Are you guys ready to try this? Or you want to get into some of these Russell's Reserve picks and see what you have? You guys had picks from Russell Reserves?
I have not.
I have not.
Never had.
We've
pick
talked
from
about
them.
that. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, relatively
excited
new, but
about
I've
it.
never seen a pick other than Louisville when it was 150 or whatever
Okay.
it was.
Yeah,
So
this
let-
is going to
let-
be good.
Let's do this. Let's pour the 2 newer picks. Yeah, do you have a little dump glass? Sandra, can you get it? Yeah, never mind. I'm good, Sandra. Let's pour the 2 newer Russell Reserves. So I'm going to pour the bennies in your glass. Keep it, know if it's on your left or right. So none of you have had to pick it off. You've never had to pick from this.
Nope.
Nope.
Have not.
Did not realize.
Do
that.
we get them in Missouri? I mean,
I don't think so. No. Yeah, I've never seen them. Marcy, have you?
Very hard.
Yeah.
Very limited. Not a lot of barrels.
Yeah, the pick program kind of shut down for a while. COVID, a lot of that happened, but these are starting to pick back up, where they're
Well,
doing
that
some
smells
picks
good.
again.
That's what she said.
All day long. So, while you're pouring that, we went.
You guys got your second glass? Everybody should have 2 glasses. Here you go, Jason.
We go to the football games every year with the SEC, and Brant and I had the opportunity to meet Jimmy Russell one time, get some signatures from him. What a great, great guy.
Everybody got 2? Everybody got
pour.
both pours? Or you still have the 101, or I poured you? You're good?
oh no, the one you don't have to worry about that. The 101's gone.
Did that go down
It's
the
gone.
drain?
It's gone. It's gone. Thank you though.
I didn't get that second pour.
I thought I was missing somebody, Brant.
Which one are we starting with?
Either one, just nose them both. Just know in the left, you should. Well, I'm doing mine. Lincoln Road is in the right for me, and then Benny's is in the left. So this is the 2 newer ones. Then we'll get into some older picks of this in just a second. So, getting back to our topic of top 5 or 5 bourbons. I don't want to call it top 5, but 5 bourbons that we would pick. My number 2. I always think that you need to have that higher proof whiskey, that higher proof bourbon in your collection because, some people will go, well, I can't drink it that hot. And that's fine, but you can always add water and get it down to where you want. But when you open a bottle of whiskey, it should last you a little while, so your palate's going to adjust and change. You should be able to, at some point, lessen the amount of water you put in, and now you have this nice whiskey. So for me, on the list, great value, about $25. 114 proof. What is it? Anybody? Old Granddad.
Old Granddad? Yeah,
Oh,
that's where I
Brandon,
was at.
we talked about that.
Yeah. I think it's a banger
had
for.
that?
Wow.
Have you
No,
had, you've
no,
had
I've
that,
never-
obviously.
Oh, I've got
I mean,
a
it's
bottle
been a
of it.
minute.
Old
Yeah.
Granddad, it's good.
I just
Yeah.
didn't see that one coming though. That's
You can
interesting.
find that stuff too.
Oh yeah.
It's on the shelf all the time.
All the time.
Should be around $25, so you really can't beat it for that price.
Nice.
So are you drinking it neat? Or are you?
Well, I mean, again, it's up to the individual. I drink it neat, but
Yeah.
where I'm at in my journey might be different than. Well, never mind. Ethan's not the example we should give. He can throw anything back. Looks like.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well.
He's handling himself just fine.
So the first bottle you poured there,
Yeah,
which one was that?
The first one is Benny's out of New York.
that is
out of Chicago.
really good.
You like that one?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And obviously these are all 110 proof because this is what they
The
come.
second one feels hotter. I mean, it tastes hotter. But
Drinks
boy,
a little
that-
hotter?
Yeah, that Benny's is really good. So we're gonna have to get a bottle of Old Granddad then, Brant.
Have
and
you not had
Ethan.
that in the bar?
I've had a drink of it, but I don't think I've ever had it. Have you guys ever actually?
I've got a bottle.
I mean, I've had a
Do
drink
you?
of it. Yeah, I don't have any at the house.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so what's on your list number 2 that you would
All right.
recommend for a friend to put in the bar?
Let's see. I'm trying to. Well, I know this one's on a list, but I would go down. I would say Weller, and it would be the 12-year.
Okay, this guy's a
Brant's
baller.
just-
Yeah, dude, we're down
Where
here.
the
The
hell are
top shelf.
Not your bar.
What you're
Well,
gonna get your buddy? So
that's
let's
what
go-
I
tell your
asked.
buddy, put
It's a
this
good
on your
list, though. It's
bar.
an interesting
It's
perspective.
a great perspective.
It is an
but-
interesting
All right,
perspective.
But it's-
But
but
that
it's-
No,
is-
it's a good pick.
And
I mean,
that's kind of my go-to. Like
Brant's
when I-
bar is different from my bar. You didn't distinguish whose bar we're at.
Yeah, but
here.
you're
No,
trying to
but
bring your buddy.
You're getting your buddy into bourbon.
Okay, so we're talking bourbons and whiskeys.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go
I'd probably
Scotch,
say I would go with something like a Maker's Mark 46.
I think that's a great pick.
I mean-
you bring up a very good point. I think Maker's Mark is a great one. One, because a lot of people, they want to try a weeded bourbon, and that's that weeded profile that a lot of people can try. I think that's a fantastic pick.
I think the weeded bourbons are a safe
Yeah.
bet.
Man,
with
I got a
A little
completely
sweeter than that rye. Doesn't have the bite that you don't like.
Yeah, I gotta completely disagree with you guys. I'm not a Maker's Mark fan. I think if you want to,
Which is funny because you don't like rye, and so we're taking the rye out, giving you this soft,
Right.
sweet
Yeah.
wheat, and you go, I don't like that either.
No, I'm just
Are you
thinking-
picky?
wow, that's a dagger. But here's what I think is that I'm not a, if you want to drink Jim Beam and Jack Daniels and Maker's Mark, then have at it. But if you want to start drinking some something decent at a low price point, that's not on my list.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, the cast strength at like right at 100.
I've got all. You saw them over there.
Yeah,
They're in the bar.
110 proof and it's $35. And
Yeah.
Wow.
Nope. I'll pass on that all day long.
How you guys feel about that?
Yeah.
I mean, we know how you feel, Brant. You brought it up. Great pick. I love it.
A couple thumbs down. Yeah, I mean,
You don't like Maker's Mark?
No, I'm thumbs down to him.
Oh,
no,
to
I'm
him.
very
Okay.
in. Store.
I'm okay standing on the island by myself.
Yeah, he's
I
out
mean,
there on his own.
In
He's
fact,
on
there's
his
a
own.
couple bottles over there if you guys want to take them home with you.
Gladly.
Thank you.
Are you telling
Thank
me
you.
the profile for Maker's Mark you're
It's not
completely
for me.
out?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So even the private select picks you don't like?
You know what? I could probably drink it if you're going to buy it, but it's just not. It's not for me.
That's interesting. I think
Yeah.
we can change his mind at some point.
There's such
You know,
a
I
difference.
really thought we were going to be here today. You're going to be like, bring out all the Four Roses, and you were going to literally change
Well,
my
Brant-
mind. But you know, if
Brant
we're
and
going
I
to do
had
Makers,
talked-
if
we
we're
had
going to do
talked
Makers
about
Mark,
that.
we could do that too.
Yeah. I'd still like to do Four Roses with you guys sometimes.
Yeah.
But
That'd
yeah,
be
me
great.
and Brant had a conversation about that. We settled on Wild Turkey, but that doesn't mean Four Roses isn't coming at some point. It's coming, buddy.
I believe it.
And
I've seen the pics.
I thought maybe we'd just do 5 of the recipes and then the other 5, but
Yeah.
my man Ethan, I think he could do all 10.
I believe so. Oh,
Bring it on.
geez.
Hey, there it is.
They brought the
46
Makers Mark
or is that a-
46 over,
Yeah.
and it'll just sit there for anybody who cares.
And not a bourbon, but
No.
it's a whiskey.
So I appreciate your pick, Brant. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I know, because you're not a beginner.
And anybody who that's a friend, I wouldn't give that to them.
Oh, well.
Well, you know, we talked about
He's
the
on.
blind for you with the Elmer T. Lee. I really, he says he likes Weller 107 quite a bit.
I do,
I'd like
yeah.
to do that blind with him and see if he picks.
So you're saying 107 versus Elmer T. Lee?
No.
Oh.
107 versus cast strength Maker's Mark and see if
You
you
said
do.
that earlier, and
We're going to
I'd be
get you
willing
on
to
that.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a triangle blind. So you're going to have 2 of one and 1 of the other. You're not going to know which one's 2. And you're going to pick out.
that's dirty pool there.
Yeah, well, that's
Dirty pool.
That's getting your palate to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus a 50-50.
Versus just guessing.
Yeah.
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 And going, I got it right.
Well, I don't mean to be the odd man out tonight, but I'm feeling like it a little bit.
No,
I said
not
no
at all.
to Four Roses and to Makers.
Well, you had 4 roses on your list.
I
so
did
you're solid
because
there.
if I had a friend wanting it, that's a great place to start.
Yeah. So what's the second one on your list? Because no, you got to go. We're going to
Yeah, you
snake.
gotta go.
So.
Well, I put these interchangeably, but I'm going to go to where it's written down there. I'm going to do a Basil Hayden, and here's why: it is easy to come by. You can get it almost at any restaurant and bar that you go to, and if you want to, it looks great in the bottle. And if you got a buddy that's wanting to try some bourbon, I think you can ease your way into some Basil Hayden. You know, a bunch of old men like that one. It's not too bad. You know, it's definitely better than some Maker's Mark. So I think it's a good one to pick out there.
wow.
That shot's fired.
How about that?
Boy, that hurt a little, didn't it, guys?
I'd be okay. I'm okay with that.
I'm sitting here biting my tongue, going, "Okay, I just need to be easy on him on this."
No.
pick,
You've
but,
never been easy. You've texted me before and said you're absolutely wrong. So let's.
No. That was just. It looked a little lighter. I'm going to give it to the lighting. What do you think about Basil Hayden, Brant?
Well, for a beginner, if I were going down that path, it would be toasted. It would be the basil toasted.
I'm okay with
I
that.
think that would
like all of
appeal.
them, but
I think that would
just put it
appeal
on the
better
list. Yeah.
to a new.
As
bourbon
somebody young in this bourbon journey, what do you think about Basil Hayden?
I don't pick it up.
Okay.
So I never
No, go
had
ahead,
it.
but
No, I never had it. It's not something.
You've
no,
never had
when I'm
Basil
like
Hayden?
looking through the list of things, that one just gets passed.
Yeah.
I just know that there's a lot of people out there that go, "Hey, it's at a great price point. It's an easy drink. It's not, it's not harsh."
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick. I really don't, because for one main reason, every product that they put out is 80 proof.
Correct.
So as far
It
as
doesn't hurt.
trying to be familiar with proofs and how it's going to affect your palate, you're going to be pretty consistent at 80 proof with that. To me, if you're going to, and again, when you think that bar, I'm thinking they're going to drink it neat, or, a splash of water or two, to play with it, but not a big ice cube that might,
Water down
dilute it
the
down a
worst.
little bit. So if you're going to spend $25, I'd rather you be around that 90 proof, I think, something like that. But 80 proof's not bad because it is easier on the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would just be my only thing. But I do think 80 proof could work because, to your point,
It's a
80
newbie.
easier on the palate for somebody trying to drink it neat. So not a bad play. And toasted, I agree, because at 80 proof, you lose some of that.
The flavor.
Yeah, because it's been watered down. I don't remember what Jim Beam's barrel entry is, but it's going to come out of the barrel above 130 probably, 125, 130, and getting it down to 80s quite a bit. So toasted, just adding some more flavor. I think Brant brings up a good point there.
Yeah.
What's second on your list, Ethan?
Well, I got two things here.
Okay.
I think number one, I've got to defend my guy Brant.
Okay. On
The Weller 12 pick. Not accessible. However, if you're a newbie, and I was a newbie, and went to Brant's bar, and Brant poured me a bottle of Weller 12, and I immediately was like, okay, I got to go either find something like this or find that, which that's not happening. But I think that Weller 12 pick is something that, I mean, you know, with the parameters we've set here, if you want to get people hooked,
So
that's a great pour.
and I think what
You
that
just
really
can't
does.
start with that.
What I think, like the comparison that he's talking about, is if you're trying to talk, you've got people that might have cut their teeth on Jack Daniels and Jim Beam and all that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden you go to like a Weller 12 and you realize there's something else out
different.
there. It's just like those of you that like the tequilas, and I don't drink a lot of tequila, but you're drinking Jose, and all of a sudden you realize there's some good stuff out there that's good sipping tequila.
100%.
It's the same concept. It's
Yep.
like, okay, now there's a different world out there.
But if you're
So-
trying to,
but
yeah, I
you're
agree.
right.
There- You know, I love Weller 12. I mean, that's great stuff. But it's just you can't find it, so you can't go, hey, buddy,
Well-
let's try this, and then send them out to the world. And
I
they
think
never
what
find it.
Ethan's saying is, tell me if I'm wrong, is that if you're going to get into bourbon, part of that journey is finding a friend like Brant that has that collection.
Yeah, that's
that
exactly
will
right.
Pour you some bourbon.
That's exactly
So
right.
you know where you want to go.
Yeah.
So
Or may
find
take
something
you a little while
close
to
or-
get there,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
let's
exactly
go to
right.
Brant's and drink some of his bourbons. I'm
Yeah.
in.
And Weller 12, I don't disagree with you. You know, sometimes it gets crapped on because it's that tater bottle everybody's looking for,
Yeah, I
especially
know.
on secondary and things like that. But it is quality, and it's a 12-year-old bourbon. It's 90 proof, so it's got a great little, proof point to it as far as an easy drinker for somebody. It's weeded, so it's still got that sweeter profile. I think it's a great one to, aspire to get to, or have a friend who will pour you some of it.
Yeah.
So now that's, I just had to stick up for my guy Brant there for a
Oh,
second.
you're just sucking up
appreciate
shit
No,
more
no, no.
bottles.
I mean,
We
maybe,
know what
but
you're
no,
doing.
no.
So the odd man out. Is that what you're saying? I'm okay with that.
This one, I don't know. This one is getting, I think, easier to find. It's not super easy, but Sazerac Rye.
Okay.
I think the last one I bought was $30 or $35. I was not a huge rye person. Bought it, Buffalo Trace, the whole deal. Bought it. It's delicious.
Yeah.
And so now that, it's still hard to find, but I don't think it's
Is that hard to find up here?
hard-ish, I
Is
would
it
say.
really?
Yeah.
You're going to have to
We're
start getting
chasing
some-
everything. I'm coming to Houston.
Yeah,
we
I'll
chase-
say,
we
we're
chase it
chasing
all.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
No,
I
but that's one that I could sit down and drink.
I really like that you put a rye in. I got a rye in my list as well, and I know you don't.
I don't.
That felt like
Do
it was
you?
up on a
I,
tee.
no, I own 2 bottles of Sazerac Rye, and if you guys wanted to drink them all, I'd give them to you. I just
Gladly.
it's just not on my list, and I feel like I really am a Debbie Downer here tonight, which is
Not at all.
odd.
No.
I mean,
hey, you like what you like.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. There's no bad profile or palate. There's no bad palate. You like what you like.
but there's a lot of people who like Sazerac Rye. I mean, they're hard to find. There's a lot of people who like it.
I'll tell you, it's not my favorite rye at
Yeah.
that price point. One of the reasons is
What would it be?
90 proof. What would be my favorite
Yeah, at
rye?
that point.
At that price point, it's on my list, so I'll just do a spoiler alert. It's the Old Forester rye at 100 proof.
Oh, all right.
And to me, at 100 proof, you can still drink it neat, but it still holds up in a cocktail. And a lot of rye whiskeys
Yeah.
are good in cocktails. So I think if you're going to have that bourbon or that whiskey bar, bourbons and ryes, cocktails might be part of the thought process on using them for that. And so I love the Old Forester at 100 proof. The Sazerac, I don't mind. I just, the ones I've had, and I haven't had a lot of them, so it's a very small sample size. But I think they've just been a little thin for me. But again, small sample size, I might run into 3 or 4 and go, I was wrong. These are fantastic. So I actually have a couple picks of them. I just never opened them up. So I might need to try those and see how they are.
Sounds like they need to get in the trunk the next time.
Yeah, they can do that. Yeah,
Okay.
with some Four Roses.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good with that. I'll drink anything that you bring. You know what? I even tried the E.H. Taylor Rye. Remember?
You did. You liked it.
and I liked it. So there I am.
We're going to convince this guy.
Yeah, you're going to get me there. You were talking about a narrow hallway. Mine just happens to be a little narrower than the others when it comes to bourbon.
But I do love that you have a rye on there because I think,
Yeah.
It's sneaky.
Yeah, you got to, that gets that kind of, that diversity in whiskey. Or I always say bourbon. I know rye's not a bourbon, but you kind of put those two in kind of the same sandbox. Yeah. So where are we at with...
it's snake. I got to go again.
Yeah, you get to bring her back.
This one's random, and this is recency bias, but the Green River Weeded.
Really?
I don't know if you've hit.
Just tried that last night.
Is
man.
this a Tennessee whiskey?
I don't even know what it would be.
I
Marcy
believe it is
just introduced.
Oh, it's Bardstown.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
something
that
that
I've
I've
ever
had
heard of it.
several times within the last month. Actually, at my brother-in-law's, and then I bought a bottle, and
Yeah.
it's
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Marcy,
Really, we
talked
I
me
just
into
had
that
that
last
last
night.
night. It's
Good.
really good. It
Really?
sneaks up on you. It's
Affordable.
really good.
Yep.
Okay,
really
proof point?
Oh God, I don't even know what it is.
90.
So we
Miss
got,
Marcy
we've got
says 90.
Marcy, who is like the guru around
Yeah.
here, who's whispering in the background. But she just had a little bourbon tasting last night. Brant you and I were there.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing what Marcy's thoughts were. Like, somebody new comes in, hey, I'm trying to find something different. What are the ones that people
You know
like
what? That's
Marcy
a great
are
pick.
saying?
I would agree with you on that.
I mean,
Look at
that's
I'm
a
agreeing with you.
recency
Now-
bias.
now-
It's the one I don't even really know that much about, but it's one that I've had several times now over the last couple months. That every time I've had it, it's held up. It's been good. It's findable.
That was going to be my
good-
question. Is it distributed all over the states?
I don't know what states. It's in our state.
Yeah, it's in our state. Yeah, it's here.
That's
Recency bias.
it's recency. It is recency
tell me the
bias,
name
but
of
it's
it again.
Green River Weeded.
Green
River is the distillery, and then Weed is there 3 or 4 of them? I think 3 or 4 different ones.
Where is it at? It's Bardstown, so it's out of
Bardstown,
Kentucky.
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, you brought a bottle of Bardstown tonight with you.
I did.
And I thought it was good. But
Disco
the Great
Lemon.
River, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look for that one. Check it out.
Very
Wow,
random.
that shocked
But it-
me that that's where you.
But it was one that I had just recently had that I thought that's something that if you didn't drink, I mean, or if you were new to whiskey or bourbon or whatever you want to call it, that would be one that you could
yeah, you
drink.
could
and
ease into that one. That's a good.
super easy
Good
to
call.
pour, and yeah.
So what do you guys think about these Russell's picks?
I wish they were in Missouri.
Yeah.
Number
That's
2.
all I can
You
think
like
about.
those?
Yeah, oh my
That
gosh.
second one was
2 was
amazing.
Second one's really good, isn't it?
Oh,
it's a
my
little
God.
softer, a little sweeter.
It is.
Brant and I are flashing the rabbit ears over here.
Yeah, I was like,
Those are good.
speaking
Okay.
of,
Yeah.
am I up?
Yeah.
Because
Oh wait.
Wait, you
That
skipped
was-
Jason.
I did,
did we skip you? You already got one. I've only.
don't we do the snake? So
it
it comes
goes
back
right
to
to
me,
you.
doesn't it?
Oh, there we go. Okay, go back to Jason. But that was a good
this one's
segue. We had a really good segue
We
there
did.
just now, and that's
Well,
why I
just
wanted to
had
run with it.
Yeah, you just kind of
But anyway, all right.
So this one's not quite to Brant's level of hard to find, but I'm going to throw it out there. Good bottle to drink. I'm gonna go with Eagle Rare.
You guys are going baller.
Yeah, but you know what?
top shelf.
Little,
Yeah.
that's a little,
County. You
that's
got
a
good
little
friends,
more,
Ethan.
little more accessible. It
It's a little more accessible.
shows up every once in a while.
It's at a
It's a
really
little
good
bit easier. It
price
is easy.
Points, and man, if you really want to get somebody hooked, in my opinion, I think you go with something like that.
Let's
It's
ask
not really
Kenny.
hot. No, that's a terrible idea.
Kenny's not a fan.
But he doesn't even know what he's drinking most of the time. If it's free, he's drinking it.
He doesn't, and he likes it.
Yeah, so I hated to go right to that, but so many people say, hey, can you get me a bottle of that? Can you find a bottle of that? Where's a bottle of that? And I think there's just a lot of people who like Eagle Rare.
Yeah.
It's not in my top. If you had to say, hey, what's your top 10? It's probably not there, but I do like it, and if it's available, I drink it. It's
an easy pour.
I think it's really easy. I mean, I didn't want to go down to the level of an Angel's Envy, but I think an Eagle Rare is there.
Okay. Interesting pick.
Brant, nothing? No, you got no.
Oh, I like it. I'm good with Eagle Rare.
It is a little hard to find.
Kind
you
of
know
the same
that.
thing.
There-
It's a little bit.
Ethan and I were there for a long time. About a year ago, we're pining around to try to
We were-
find them.
Yeah.
Digging.
But now you can get them a little, they're a little easier.
Are they
to find.
popping up a little more around here?
I don't think I'd say popping, but they're
You can get a few.
they're
of them.
here and there.
Yeah, definitely better than a Weller 12. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you that I've seen one in a couple years of you.
A Weller 12?
Yeah.
No.
Only at Brant's house.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
no. Which, if he stays here long enough, you and I can go over there and drink some of his.
While I'm gone golfing, you can come over there tomorrow and just have
I'll
your
do
way with it.
Don't you worry.
I already mentioned kind of what was next on my list, following with you with the rye, and I went Old Forester for my pick. One, because part of my criteria again was kind of spreading out to these distilleries, and I think Old Forester Brown-Forman is one that people should try and get into. When you think about Brown-Forman, it's not only Old Forester, but it's Jack Daniels too. So I'm kind of piggybacking there. But I think when you get into Old Forester and you get into some of their bourbons, especially Whiskey Row, when you get into 1910, that kind of double oak profile, 1920 from the Prohibition style, I mean, they're just some great bourbons that they have. And so I would steer somebody to exploring, we're mentioning rye, but Old Forester as a distillery, I think, puts out some really good products. Now we're to you, Brant.
Okay, so going back to when Ethan gave me the Rabbit Ears reference there, and this is going out into left field too, because I think this might surprise Rob even, but Rabbit Hole, Cave Hill.
I've never had that.
Really?
And I know it's a doctor that started that over there in Kentucky.
And my wife and Ann, we went to the distillery when we were out there in Louisville last year, I guess it was. And but in fact, the first time that I tried that was at one of the BMW events, and they had tastings. They had a bunch of the vendors that were in for one of those end of the year things, and had all kinds of things that you could sample. And I really liked it. And that's one that's accessible, and I would recommend that one to a new drinker.
I will say I've had several people tell me, because like I said, I've never had it. I may come by your house tomorrow too.
Come on by.
But I've had several people tell me that it really is good. But how many products are in their portfolio? I mean, not exactly, but do they have a pretty good lineup?
I think 4 or 5.
I got a couple bottles over there.
Derringer's the one that I could think of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think, but again,
and
because
are they
I'm
like 6 to 9?
Right,
Is that kind
they
of their
got-
sweet spot for their ages, or where are they
yeah, I'm
at?
trying to think of what age.
I feel like we have to go grab a couple bottles I got over there.
Do you have some?
I got 2 bottles of.
I bet Tony
Rabbit
Ford
Hole.
Rabbit
grabbed
Hole,
those.
Cave Hill, Cave Hill,
I don't
Cave
think
Hill.
I got the Cave Hill.
Cave Hill. Yeah.
I think I got a couple
What
bottles.
age?
Rabbit
Do you know
Hole,
what
Rabbit
age?
Hole.
You know what age that is?
Rabbit Hole tone.
I think it's 8 year.
8 year?
8 year.
It's an 8 year.
Yeah.
You need to
See,
try.
that's
You need to give it a
solid.
try, Rob. Come on.
Yeah, that's solid.
That's an
solid.
interesting.
My
print,
problem
Brant.
with not
I know.
problem, but the art on those,
Oh.
the advertising. I mean, I walk by those and I always look at them, but I've never known anybody to actually. So I'm gonna have to pick a bottle up now because
it's good.
I'm a sucker for good advertising and good art
I'm
and get
married to
caught in-
somebody like that.
Oh man,
But I like the
walk
bottle.
by,
I like the bottle.
Yeah, if I walk by and I see a cool bottle, it's coming home.
It is a good looking bottle.
Yeah, I mean it's just a little different.
Yeah, I like that proof point too. 95 is pretty solid. That's
Yeah.
not a proof point you see very often. So,
Yeah.
and this is one you like a lot.
Oh, I like it, but we're
Not-
talking. But getting somebody new started on bourbon and whiskey, yeah, I would go
You
down that
point in
path.
that direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think it's very.
I'm pretty new. We should open it.
I think it's a very.
It's
good
already
point.
open. Go ahead, man.
Well,
You've
we're
never
going to
had
stay in
it.
the wild turkey.
Oh,
I mean, you're
okay,
getting a
okay.
little, hey, we got to slow this man down. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do something, they're
Trust Brant. I wanted to give Brant a fair shake here.
We're going to. We'll
Okay.
come to that. I want to
Okay.
try it too, but I think while we're palate's kind of on that wild turkey profile, if you don't mind.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
All right, let's pour these next two, which are quite a bit older picks from.
you guys haven't even finished yours. Mine are all polished off over here. I think I licked the bottom of the glass.
That second one's really good, isn't it?
It's very good.
Second one's
As
so
I pour it
good.
out.
Oh, it's
So good.
All right, so we're going to do breakfast for bourbon. This is a Houston pick. This is one of my favorites. I will post a picture of this in Houston. People go, "You still have a bottle of that?" And so, yeah, it's pretty good. People covet this.
You brought some dandy bourbons with you.
Marty, my golf partner tomorrow, he's probably looking at me right now because these pours are getting it's like a little heavier. And
Rob's arm's getting a little tired, and he's pouring them heavy.
he
Whoops.
said cut him off.
Ethan said I'm doing just fine.
I know that.
Got nothing to do. I've seen Brant play golf late into the night. I think he's good.
I think you'll be
Oh,
just
boy.
fine.
I think he's good. Might play a little better.
I'll be sweating right out of the gate.
High of 78 tomorrow. I don't think you'll be sweating too much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll take that.
It's supposed to rain tonight, so
Yeah,
maybe
hopefully
you're
cool it
good.
down. That'd be
Yeah.
good. We need it.
So,
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, which one's on the right? Which one's the first pour?
So the first pour was this bourbon for breakfast.
What?
This is the brown juice and ham. And this is the other H-Town pick. So these are both Houston picks, but they're from several years ago.
Gotcha.
So these are, you can tell by the neck tags, they went to these labels now, and they did that because somebody would go into a store, just buy a bottle, have a neck tag, put it on there, and make you think you had a pick, because people are like that. They're not all
dirty.
honest.
People are so fun.
Yeah.
So
So Wild Turkey ended up going, well, we're just going to make a label, and that way you can't do that anymore.
I'm telling you,
So-
they got a great smell to them, nice and sweet.
Yeah.
somebody is looking out for me though, because this is the second time now Rob has left me hanging on the second pour.
Did I leave you hanging on the second pour?
Again.
That's this one right here.
Well, you probably did like your pick of Rabbit Hole.
Probably right. But he hasn't tried it yet, so he doesn't know.
He's picking on me, Jason. All right, so you get to see what you think about these two. Now, I will tell you, Benny's and Lincoln Road are really good picks, but be curious. What's that
Boy,
face?
those are
Ethan? How you feeling?
I wish I was on camera.
Yeah, that's good.
Are you doing the breakfast one first? Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head. I got to remember I'm not on camera. Golly.
Yeah, so that's my point with Russell's Reserve. I mean, these have went up a little bit as far as the cost for picks. You used to be able to get these prior to COVID. These would come out as picks. You get them for $60.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're now right around 75, 80, depending on where you. But still, for a single barrel pick. It's not a bad price to me because it's quality juice. It's Wild Turkey. It's always going to be pretty good. You really kind of hard to go. To get something, you go, I just don't want to drink that. It's
No, those
probably
are-
not going to happen.
Those are both really good.
You like both those?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ethan, they're both good, aren't they?
Yeah, the breakfast one is so
The
good.
breakfast one is just
Yeah.
fabulous. Like, you could
I
drink
can see why
a lot of
the
that.
Houston
Which one was
chat
the
boards
breakfast
are not
one?
happy.
First pour or the second pour?
First pour.
I haven't been
first right there.
I haven't been in the second one yet, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
So,
Second's good. Second's really good. Just feel bad for it going against the first one.
Yeah, it was really good.
Now, where are we in our?
I think it's you.
Is it me now?
I think it's
Where-
you.
Okay.
We got
All right.
Rabbit Hole. It's back to you. We're going to snake back.
All right, I'll tell you what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Heaven Hill. I'm going to go with Elijah Craig. I'm going to go with their standard offering at about $30, and it's 94 proof. And I think again, kind of spreading you out in all these distilleries and kind of figuring out what these profiles are. I think Elijah Craig is a really solid pour. The problem I would have with Elijah Craig is they don't have a lot of product in that, once you get out of their standard, there's not a lot going on until you get up into some of their more expensive, more kind of hard to get stuff. I wish they had more offerings in that, $35 to $60 range like Wild Turkey does and, Four Roses does and Old Forester does. I think that's where there's kind of a hole in the portfolio of Heaven Hill. But having said that, I still think getting to know that profile of Heaven Hill and that 94 proof is just a good one to get into.
Boy, I agree. I mean, I did not put it on the list. I looked at the bar. I thought about putting it on the list. I was like, nope, somebody else is going to jump in
Yeah.
on that. But, Elijah Craig's a great one for a friend that you go, hey, buddy,
Oh, yeah.
you start here. But you're right. You got $35 and then you're up to $75, $80.
Yeah.
But anymore, I think most of the bourbons we buy it's hard to find a $35
Now-
bourbon.
The only thing I will say is, a few years ago, Heaven Hill Bottled in Bond, couldn't find it. And we talked about it earlier. Now you're starting to see that on the shelf all the time. So there is another product that's starting to become, a little more available for people to try from their portfolio.
Yeah.
and it's a good pour.
It's a solid pour.
Solid.
It is. Yep.
So we're back to Brant.
Are we?
Yeah. What BTAC do you have for us now?
Don't have any of those lined up
Well, I'm
for
going
you
to give
right
a line
now.
of credit out just to buy the stuff that you keep throwing out there, bud.
Big
know-
fan of George T. Stagg.
Yes.
That's a bad thing is that I'm still sitting on 3/5 of the collection, so it's like,
Are you really?
oh yeah.
Yeah. Are
But,
you missing the 17 and the Sazerac?
Yep.
Yeah. Those are the two that are hard to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. So I'm just gonna have to break down and just go ahead and because I've had them. I mean, had them for years and years and years.
I've been trying to tell you. Break them open.
I know. So, oh God, trying to think of what direction I would go with another now. one of the things I was thinking about with this too, especially being here from the Midwest, and you still want to try to promote the locals and whatnot. And I know Marcy brought one of these in tonight, but the holiday soft red wheat.
Really good.
Oh, I love it. I think it's awesome, and I don't know if you've even tried it.
I've never had one
man.
of their,
Ben Holiday?
their bourbons. Yeah.
Really?
And I'll tell you that there's people in
really
Houston
good.
that love them.
So-
they're very popular around the Houston area.
So north of Kansas City, Weston, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's really catching on in Missouri anyway. So I think so. I think if you're going to tell people,
It's
hey,
everywhere,
you want to try a Missouri bourbon,
fairly new,
whiskey,
right?
Go out and get
How long have they been in the market? Less than 6-7 years?
Ben Holiday.
Holidays. Couple years?
2022 was their first release.
Yeah, I mean, it's
2022.
hardly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
all.
But they got a great lineup.
Are they a non-distilling producer? Are they sourcing? So
Yeah,
they
That's their juice.
so
their home.
they what's the age on their stuff?
6 years, 7 years.
So they just had a rick house and they had to wait. So they had some capital to put this away and let this sit for a little while.
It's in Weston, so I think they had other product lines that they were.
360
Yeah.
vodka.
They
Oh,
had-
okay.
they
Yeah,
had
vodka and gin will keep you going.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And,
Okay.
and they were big time vodka and gin, but the Ben Holiday stuff is good. That's a good call out there, Brant.
Yeah, it's good. The
So,
thing-
go ahead.
Go.
I was just gonna say the thing with it, I watch way too much like bourbon hunting YouTube in general with whiskey and stuff, and that is one that random people across the country, when they find a bottle of that, they freak out.
Really?
Oh my gosh! I mean that's one that immediately gets pointed out as far as that craft section gets pointed out every
wow.
single time.
What,
Didn't know that.
Tell me what we're at, because again, I don't know a lot about this producer. Price point. What are we looking at per bottles? Are we in that $60 to $80 range?
Oh, no.
52 to 73.
Yeah.
52 to 73. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. Okay.
And you know,
Yeah, that's
I've got a couple bottles at the bar. People like it. They come in and they'll drink it. It's
So would you guys say
And when you're
amongst Missouri bourbon drinkers and maybe Kansas bourbon drinkers, has this quickly become the most popular, the most well thought of distillery in the state?
I would think so. Yeah.
For Missouri, yes, definitely, yeah.
That says a lot to do that in a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had
Must
that
be doing something right.
rick house proof of the soft red wheat. I haven't had that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So this isn't actually a homer pick by Brant.
No. This is
No,
one that I'm
shocker.
serious. And
Got
I consume way too much whiskey YouTube, and when somebody across the country finds a bottle of that is an immediate finger. We're gonna grab
Yeah.
Alcott
that out the door.
Wow.
Alcott Award.
What is that?
They were up for the Alcotts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. With I'm trying to think of his name.
Fred Minnick.
Yeah, Fred Minnick. Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
Good
there you
pick,
go.
man. I actually agree with you.
Hey,
on-
you
for
win.
once.
Hey,
Good job.
me and
Thanks,
Hedrick,
man.
me and Hedrick are on the same team.
Yeah,
we're
for
back to
once,
you.
man.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
We're back to you, Hedrick.
Okay, so this one's maybe it used to be a little bit hard to find. It's not something that I actually really like myself, but I think it's good for an introductory person as a bottle of Buffalo Trace. So
Okay. Can you guys find that pretty easy around here? Texas, we got it all over the place.
It's getting easier.
It's getting a lot
Really?
easier.
Okay, that's
and-
good news.
And some of it has to do with the story. You know, it's the you know who they're with, what they're doing, why it's good to go out there and see them out in Kentucky. The whole idea of Buffalo Trace. You know, it's not a great pour, but I think it's a good for an introductory person to get into.
I just
Buffalo
picked
Trace.
all that out in Kentucky.
Did you?
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. See, you'll drink it. I mean, it's good.
Oh no, I have no problem with that. I
No,
think it's
not at
solid. I
all.
just didn't know how distributed it. Well, I know it's distributed, but how much on the shelf can you find it?
Now
Say it's
we can
super
find
available,
it.
but it's available.
You can,
Yeah.
if you want to
Just
find it, you can go
randomly.
find it. It might
Yeah,
take a little
man,
effort, but you can
yeah,
find
you
Yeah,
it.
a
can
little
find it.
effort, and you say, "Hey, buddy, this is."
Markup's
gonna
a
get you
little
there.
bit less.
Who's distributing that now? Because RNDC, they got Southern
Glazers, yeah.
Glaciers. Oh, okay. I didn't know they got that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, thoughts? You guys, Buffalo Trace guys? You know,
Oh, it's good.
So yeah, I'd say if I'm coming in after just being out hot mowing the yard and I want a good mixer, I'll use a little bit of that.
I mean, there's something.
Wow, I'm not even sure that's a thumbs up, right? That's more of
No,
a
that was a
hey,
dig.
Dude, if I want to
That
put
was
some
a
RC
dig.
Cola and splash it on top
Yeah,
of some.
that was a dig because
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of
I'm
just
not
regular
either, but
Buffalo
if I want
Trace.
to bring somebody who's
Yeah.
never had bourbon,
But
Wait,
see, I
you're,
don't
you're
think so.
recommending a bourbon that you're not a big fan of?
See, I don't.
yeah, but I'm trying to get somebody into the fields. Of
I don't think that's gonna do it.
Some of it doesn't
what-
have to do with the taste.
Would you
it's
send
about the
somebody to
nostalgia.
a restaurant where you go, I don't like their food, but go try it?
Good boy, you just kicked the
Came hard. That's pretty good.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no
Brant's
love.
with me on this one. He
I'm
thinks
on
that's
board.
pretty
I don't think it's
solid.
bad. It's a good pour.
See?
It's
If
it's
you haven't
fine
drink
for
it-
Ethan,
Okay.
I'm with you. I don't think it's a bad pour. He's like, I don't like that bourbon, but you should have it.
So when I say I don't like it, that just means it's not. If I'm going to go in there and I have some choices to pick, that's not on my list. But if I've got to go, if it's down there with a Maker's Mark, I'm going to pick it over a Maker's Mark. How about that, guys?
Yeah,
How about that shot across the bow?
I can't buy that one. But
No, you
I'm
can.
not on board with that.
No.
and here's my only.
It's fine. It's
here's
fine.
and here's what I was really getting at when I was taking a dig at Buffalo Trace, and it's fine. But I think if you're trying to get somebody hooked, somebody new to the bourbon market or the bourbon world, I don't think that Buffalo Trace is going to do it.
Yeah, but you
me
can't find a
personally.
Weller 12. You can't throw a Weller 12
I didn't
down,
say
buddy.
that, but it worked for Ethan.
Well, but
That's my
not
wife.
everybody's got friends like Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, I get what Brant's saying with the Weller 12, and I mean, as far as Buffalo Trace goes, it's a very fine, solid
Standard.
pour.
Yes.
I think it's two different. It's a couple different approaches. If I
Right.
had a normal bar, maybe those were big pick, and then you have the Weller 12 and the Elmer T. I mean, I think that's just two different avenues to get to the same point.
I'm just
If you've
giving
got
Jason.
hundreds
I
in your
don't have
pocket.
any of either, if that makes sense, and I'm still spending way too much money on whiskey, so it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
I mean, it worked. I got more Buffalo Trace than I do of any of the other
And
stuff.
I'm-
so-
Exactly.
I have no problem with the
That's
Buffalo
a tater,
Trace
though.
whiskey.
That's
You
the one
just
you
thought
find
my
first.
comment was.
Yeah, your comment that I won't drink it, but you should.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
I get
no, no.
that.
So I guess my comment is I will drink it. It's just not one of the things I'm going to pick out. But I would pick it over a Maker's any day of the week.
You keep saying that.
I know,
I think
but
he's
it's
wrong.
big-
I don't
he's,
think he
uh,
would.
Absolutely.
He's just
oh,
wrong,
yeah, no.
Boy, we're gonna get you on a blind, and you're gonna be like, "Well, turns out I love makers."
And you're going to be like, I told you so.
What do you think? Do you think that's gonna be the result?
Yeah, I don't. I think we got to get Jason out to Star Hill Farms and
Oh wow!
let him go through.
All right, so Buffalo Trace. I don't have a problem with the bottle because it's also gets you into that Weller family, like an Eagle
Yes,
Rare.
that's what I'm saying, the story.
And somebody wants something from Weller's a lot of times on their bar, So I don't have a problem with that.
That's a
And
great looking
the,
bottle.
the initial chase.
Yeah.
Part of whiskey with me has been collecting.
Yep.
I'm a
Yeah.
horrible collector at heart. And so that was, one of the first ones that if you could find that,
I
that's
think I
something
found you a
fun
couple
to go and
bottles of
buy.
it, didn't I?
I mean, yeah. That's something you can find. That's kind of the initial step into collecting, and then you
Yeah.
drink. And so I get it.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to choose my words better because
I get what
Ron
you're
was
saying.
just like,
No, I mean,
Hey man, you open the door. I'm coming
you did.
through.
yeah, that's right.
You did.
All right, we're
I think I
to you.
get two.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna
Yeah.
get one, and then we're gonna pour these rare breeds. and
So
do
my
a
first one
comparison.
is going to be a little bit more random, and it's more so the first bottle that I remember somebody pouring me that I just was like, man, I like this, and it was Jefferson's Ocean,
Interesting choice.
and I think that's all over the board because I think you can get some that are really bad. In fact, my brother-in-law bought one that was not great, but the bottle that I got, and I don't know everything that goes into it, was delicious, and that was one of the first ones. Well, I could talk about Brant
But-
way too much, but you got some good stuff from Brant.
He
But
is your Padawan.
that's
Man, he's a good guy.
I'm just going to sit over here and be
What
quiet
is-
anymore. I don't.
But
He
that,
must
that's
be
one
after-
of the
he
that's
must
one
be
of
after
those
something.
that I mean that's the first one that I can remember that I remember being like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
I need to go find that, or I need to go. And so Jefferson's Ocean is, and again, I think it varies. Somebody that listens to this may be like, that's a horrible pick.
Yeah, he's new.
Yeah, that guy doesn't know, and I don't.
Part of the journey.
But that was one that initially that I got
you
a
hooked
good
on.
one. I got lucky, and
But it hooked you. Where
it
you
did
want to go
100%. That was the one that I
So how many bottles of Jefferson Ocean have you bought?
a couple.
How many? Have you opened them all?
Yeah.
They've all been good? All hit for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've all been fine.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistently, you like that
Yep,
product.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. And I know if you read online or you, like I said, YouTube, you get down the YouTube wormhole. There's people that this
I
one's
own 0 bottles.
What's the
Me
what's
too.
the price
Never
point on
had
that? Isn't that like 70?
too much.
Isn't it
I mean,
70,
it
80
is.
bucks?
Yeah,
for-
for
so
what
that's
when-
my only
when you
drawback
get
on the
into-
topic.
And again, that was my first introduction into it.
Right.
So like,
okay.
I don't really know any better.
You know,
But I bought a couple bottles of it because that's what I liked.
Yeah.
And then it's turned into.
But that's
I get that.
That's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I mean that's my thing for when we were thinking. I was like, you can go with the standard. I thought about Jim Beam's Black.
Yeah.
I think Jim Beam
Yeah.
Black's
Yeah.
a great pour
Yeah.
for $20.
I mean,
or
we
whatever
can
it
all
is.
have an honorable mention or two, too.
Barry Old
because
Barton.
There's a couple other
I mean,
we can
yeah,
talk-
this is my.
Barry Old
I'm going to get
Barton.
this off my chest here because I think I got one more. I better have one more.
Yeah, you have one more, but let's pour
Okay.
these
Get
rare
off-
breeds
I'm gonna
and
get off
see
my
what you guys think.
soapbox.
Because I really want you to try this
Well,
non-chill filter.
You went to it, man. You just got right
Yeah.
to it.
You were worried about me talking. That's all I do.
I feel like I've been the
Can I pour your
the
bottle?
negative person
Yes,
here tonight.
absolutely.
No,
Everybody's-
you just been.
And I'm going to pour you first both times to make sure I don't miss you, Brant.
I like it.
What a good time. What some good pours you
Oh
brought
my
with us,
gosh.
man. Those are awesome.
I didn't really know what to expect
That-
with all this, but this has been way
Enough?
too
You want
much
a little
fun.
more?
Oh, no, I'm good.
What's your radio setup like, Rob? Can I call in from Central Missouri?
You sure can. If you guys want to call somebody right now, we can call them.
No. When you're in Houston and you're not here with us, unless you're mute, I just can you get a friendly radio like Bob and
Wow, who
Tom
could
used
we
to do?
call?
Can you get a
That'd be
friendly
great.
radio guest into Houston, Texas?
Yeah.
Ethan Massey from Central Missouri.
That's
Can
what I
you-
say. We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make
We
that
can phone a friend
right now. We can phone a friend right now.
I want to make that happen. Next one I want in
I'm
on.
going you first.
All right.
This
Perfect.
way I don't forget about you. Can't believe
The
I did that
non-chill
to you.
filtered one?
Yeah, this non-chill filter.
Oh, that's going to be so good.
Oh, you're right.
Where'd you acquire that one?
Yeah, you
that's
are-
when you sent me the
double hand
picture.
that.
That's the one that
Oh, that's going to be
I
good.
know somebody.
it's good to know people.
Just like Brant knows people.
You know,
Just-
she's got
just
two
like you
hands
know
on the
Brant.
bottle every time.
Brant knows this.
2 hands on that thing. That thing is.
Can we steal one more pour?
All right. Now you can
I'm
nose and
excited.
talk about these two.
Yeah.
I would say definitely start with, I'm going to say my left for the standard shelf offering of rare breed, and then come over to that non-chill
Which is a good
filter.
pour.
So
It is a good pour. Is this
one of my
Brant, this one you
favorites.
brought?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Rob thought I had a bottle of it left, but we drank it all, if you recall.
I come in and I go, hey, you have a bottle of rare breed, don't
I was
you?
like,
And he goes,
oh.
no, just finished it.
Just drank it all. I was like, oh.
Call Brant.
He goes, well, Brant was supposed to tell you. I was like, oh, man, sorry. Even that is a really, just the standard.
Standard is solid.
is
Really,
solid.
really good.
And it was hard to get around here for a long time, but
Was
now,
it really?
So
now
good.
it's easy to get.
So here's my question for this. We still get this, because I see this number fluctuate quite a bit all over the place. We still get this most places in Houston for $45. What is it here for
It's
rare
probably
breed?
more than that. It's probably $60 for
65
rare
rare
breed.
breed?
Just standard rare breed.
50.
Yeah, it's probably about 60
60,
bucks.
yeah.
Okay, so that's about $15 more than us in our market.
But
That's
we've been
interesting.
struggling to get it here for a long time.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
you haven't? You're getting to know you haven't.
it's not
So-
it's not a allocated. It's more about the supply of it.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken from Marshy, because I've been in there before. Hey, where's the rare breed? We're just waiting on it. So it's not. It'll hit the shelf when it comes in, I guess. But
So I bought
yeah.
this exact bottle for
God
my
help us.
80-year-old dad.
Did you
And he
really?
drank it. He's like, hey, that was really, really good. He goes, we've got these over here in Marshall, which is where I grew up. And he's like, you want me to get you a couple bottles? So he's messaged me a couple times. I'm pretty sure he's picked me up a couple bottles.
that's
not,
awesome.
Not knowing that they're available now, but yeah, I bought it for him.
I'll tell you what I've done, and you know, you guys might go because you're in that collecting and kind of, you know, we all want to have a Dusty. How do you get a Dusty? Stick them away in a closet for a while. So if you know rare breeds,
interesting.
from 1992 when these came out till now, every so many years they change it. You know, you might have the 109 proof, the 112 proof, the 112.8, and it fluctuates. 116.8 has been around for about 5 years now, and I'm thinking at some point they're going to make that adjustment again. So I've taken 3 of these and put them in the closet, and they're away and gone, because when they make that change,
Yeah.
I want to have them. Same
Is
thing
it
with wild
changed
turkey.
Is the change just because?
Yeah, they just, they get to
They
a
mix
point.
it, yeah.
There's no, I don't.
Rhyme or reason.
Yeah, you could talk to Eddie and Jimmy and those guys. I don't think it's
Don't
just
they-
time to.
Don't they only have 2 mash bills?
Yeah, they have a rye and a bourbon.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's all they have. So
Interesting.
everything, whether you're getting into that Master's Keep or whatever, everything's just a rye and bourbon mash bill. Rick House makes a big difference. They have a ton
Right.
of houses that they can get it from. And then obviously, age makes a difference. But it's something fun to do. If you guys remember, I don't know, what was it, 3 years ago or so, Wild Turkey went from the label and they got that
Yeah.
embossed glass with the smaller label on the bottom. So I went and bought like 6 of those, the liters and the 750s of the old labels.
Oh, yeah.
And put
them
it away in the
away.
closet. Because, in 10
Yep.
years, people go, like, where'd you
try
get
to
that?
do that,
Yeah, put it away, So,
nice.
I don't know if you guys know who Rare Breed 101 is. Dave Jennings does a big wild turkey. He does a lot of stuff with wild turkey. Anyway, he was on the show, and I was Dave. How do you get Dusties? He goes, you create your own. So that's where I got that idea from.
All right.
He's like, just go find some of this stuff, put it away, and then in 10 years you got
Nice.
some Dusties. So.
Nice.
That's
Well,
kinda what
Ethan
I
and
did.
I have not tried it yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
We're
I'm
literally
waiting for
holding this-
permission.
Oh, you go, man, at your pace.
We wanted to all try it together
Yeah, I
because
haven't
we
tried
know
this.
this thing is going to be
I haven't either.
dandy.
So well, let's go ahead with your number one, and you can know.
Oh, my number 1 was
Yeah.
Double Oak. Woodford Double Oak.
Oh, okay. I think that's solid. I think that's really good because I think it's
sweet,
a profile.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's one that I probably drink too much of. I mean, it's a good pour. You don't need water. You don't need ice.
Yeah.
It's got that real sweet note to it.
I think
number
that's
one.
That's a
I think
good
that's
one.
a solid pour.
Yep.
They released the Double Oak this year, and I just kind of cried looking at my Instagram as I wasn't in Louisville and didn't have any way to get to the distillery in time to get a bottle of that because I'm sure it's delicious.
Yeah. I will tell you that of the lineup from Woodford, that's my favorite. I mean, of their standard offerings that's in their lineup, I just think it's, to your point, packed with flavor.
Have you had the Double Oak?
Oh, yeah, I have some. Oh, the double
Double Oak,
No,
yeah.
that's distillery only. I've had that.
Or
from-
I think they screwed a batch up this year and they put out a toasted,
Oh, really?
but I think that's distillery only. And
I've
Central
tasted
Missouri's
it from
not
friends, but I've
Louisville,
never
and-
owned any of that double oaked. I've tasted it.
I've not.
But I've never owned it. But the double oaked, I think, is great.
That was as soon as you came up to me and said, "What's one bourbon you have to give to somebody?" 2
Yep.
through 5 was kind of. I mean, that's all stuff I would give to somebody, but Double
Yeah.
Oak was 100% number one. Try this. It's going to
Yeah.
change your mind.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that's a solid pick. My only gripe, just kind of like with Basil Hayden with Woodford, is I don't know why 90.4, but
I know.
everything's 90.4. I'd love to see them do some things around 100, 110. I think some of that, the double oak could at 100, 105, 110 would be great. But for whatever reason, it's 90.4. But that's my only gripe with them is I wish they would play with that proof a little bit just to kind of change some of those profiles.
Have you seen any store pick Double Oaks?
Oh, yeah, I have one.
And it's still 90.4?
0.4. Yep. When we picked our Buffalo Trace bottle, you're drinking Stag. So you drink it at barrel proof. We did it with Freddie Johnson. He did the pick with us.
Nice.
And so you drink it as Stag, and then you pick out which one you like the best. When what Freddie did with us, he goes, let me proof it down to 90 for you, what it's going to be when it gets bottled. Because sometimes you go, man, this one we like the best, this one's kind of second. But when you proof them down, you're like, this one lost everything, and this one holds up well. So them doing that for you really helps a lot that you can drink it. But a lot of people don't get to do that. They drink it at that Stag, and then they proof it down, and you're like, man, that's not as good as we, had.
Did you say a lot of people get to drink Stag?
Yeah. I mean, Brant, I'm assuming you do.
Oh,
It's, it's becoming a dusty.
It's not.
I don't know that we've gotten there yet.
Man, I
Brady.
know.
We have not opened
I don't
it.
think we've gotten in there yet.
I was
Brady.
supposed to bring some Stags, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
Well, that just means they have to come again.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
We got to go down to Texas, I guess.
Or we got to come to Texas.
There's
I'm down
a
with that.
football game some boys are coming down
Yeah.
to this
Yes,
year.
we are.
So,
I may have accidentally gotten a hold of one of the new Stags that doesn't have the junior designation.
I
on
just
it, but
got one. I
don't
got a
know
call to pick one
where
up, and I
got
went and picked it up.
Well,
so.
we are not on that list, Ethan.
We're not.
What? Oh yeah, just
Yeah, thank you.
What was
Well,
that,
I
Brant?
didn't say anything. I said, oh, yeah, you're on the list to come help me drink it.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
You guys want to try this?
yeah, oh, wow, I did. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. Okay, guys,
No,
wait.
it is.
How about you?
But I got.
It's dandy.
Oh, I haven't hit it yet.
All
Okay.
right, here we go. We'll do
Wow,
this.
it's good, isn't it?
It's really
Like,
good.
It's not even in the same ballpark.
I didn't even get the nose.
That mouthfeel is just completely different. You get that, that
Weird.
oil. Yeah.
It shouldn't be that different, but
No,
it is.
it's good.
Yeah, big time different.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
That's what I just was
And I
like,
think maybe because I'm so fond of the regular rare breed anyway.
Yeah, no,
That
this is good.
I know I got to have another drink of it now because it's still leaning toward the original.
Are you really?
I am.
oh,
Wow. No,
Yeah,
so
no.
I like rare breed, and you know that.
I love rare
Brant and
breed,
I
but-
drank a lot of rare breed together, but that bottle you just gave us is
But yeah, that
really
to me
good.
is
That's a different.
a fun one. So.
You know. So, Ethan, just like you, man, Double Oak, you can see it right there on my list.
but there's a question mark.
Well, it's because I wasn't.
Oh, he's calling you. Wow.
Well, he hurt. You know, because I wasn't sure if you started out with just a regular or you go straight to the Double Oak. Because I would say if you could find a Double Oak, you give that to somebody and they're gonna love it. But if they're just a newbie, I mean, what do you think?
I think double oak. You give them the double oak.
And so it just determines whether they're a bourbon person or not.
I just think it's easy.
Yeah. So
If that makes it's good, it's easy. You can find it.
Oh, so I'm
It's
gonna throw it out there.
$50, I think, 50 or 60. I mean,
So
it's
I would
just-
say if you can get them a Woodford, whatever, and or a double oak, I think you're going to be okay. I think you
Yeah.
can get somebody hooked off either one of those. So that's what the question mark was, Ethan. But thanks for thanks for looking on my page over here,
Not
man. I mean,
reading your
literally,
notes.
you were literally right on it.
not reading your notes.
All right, mine. I'm going to take you. We mentioned Brown Foreman, and I think a lot of times, Jack Daniel's can get shit on. Everybody talks about the, old number 7, and it's, it's behind the bar. It's always there. It's probably not the greatest pour. Get it, but that doesn't mean they don't have some fantastic stuff in their product line. And I think something that's on the shelf all the time. We talked about a single barrel, but now let's go single barrel proof with the Jack Daniel's. And I think when you get into that, and you get into that 120 to 140 range. Again, you can play with water to play with that, and a lot of times water can make a huge difference in the brightness of the whiskey, the fruit that's going to shine in the whiskey, and things like that. So having something at a barrel proof on that bar for those first 5 bottles, I think is a good decision to make. And Jack Daniel's, it just doesn't get a whole lot better than Jack Daniel's barrel proof, the single barrel. So that's where I'm going to go with that one.
I cut my teeth on Jack Daniels, so
Did you
I
really?
grew up on Jack Daniels. So
I did
you
too.
cannot go wrong with that. And I think the difference being there is that's where you know that you can gotta kind of go to that next level of being a bourbon connoisseur or whatever you want to call it, is to start. But I didn't branch out for years outside of Jack Daniels because I didn't know there was anything else. And that was when I was, of course, pretty young. But no, I think
Still
that's
young.
great.
Still young.
I think that's great. So you're saying that you wouldn't want to introduce a new bourbon drinker to like a Coy Hill release at about 143?
No,
Did the Coy Hill make it?
I figured that's on
His list.
Brant's list. Yeah, so I figured
Hey,
I
Willard
yeah,
Taylor,
barrel
Coy
proof
Hill. He's
I'm
got
just
some
saying-
Rock Hill. He's got it all.
I'm just saying from a proof standpoint to hit somebody new to the bourbon market and hit them with about
you will
140.
burn them out real fast.
I know you have Coy Hills, and they don't. Mine are at 140 plus, and they don't drink that hot. It's a beautiful thing how that alcohol is incorporated in there really, really well.
I agree, but boy, you can't get somebody hooked if they're.
You haven't had his Coy Hill?
It's not
Maybe you're
open
not
yet.
as good of friends as
No,
you thought you were.
No, I'm an average friend, I think is what I would call this. No. What I was going to ask is what's C923 of Elijah Craig? Is that 130? What was the proofing on that one, though, is what I'm
Oh,
trying
the
to...
923 over there?
I'm trying to get a
I don't know, it was
comparison.
like 136 or 132.
Because that's the
or
closest to that. What do they call that? It was 140 hazmat? Is that
140
right?
hazmat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they call hazmat.
Wow,
that's
look at you for a newbie. You are throwing some terms out like you were in it.
Dude's been studying hard.
Has.
Too
He's
much
been-
YouTube.
Yes, you've been reading a
Way
lot.
too much YouTube. You sit at a desk, you listen to podcasts, you end up in the wormhole.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you guys
I
think
like
about? You have a second sip, Brant?
I did.
Same opinion?
You still
Guilty.
like the.
Same
Same
thing?
opinion. I don't. As much as I love the Russell's Reserve picks, but for some reason, I'm still going back to the original and the rare breed. I don't know why.
I think-
This one just doesn't appeal to me.
I
as much.
like
it's
both,
good.
but I gotta be
it's
honest
very
with you.
good. Don't get me wrong.
Ethan,
Don't get me wrong.
That thing that's dandy.
It's just different.
Yeah, I know I'm an outlier here, but
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
100%.
Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Man.
So
It's
much
been awesome.
fun.
Hope you enjoyed some of the pours, getting to explore some things. Brant's had so
Did you
much good
see-
stuff.
did you see the way Ethan was knocking those things out tonight?
And the faces he was making as
Oh.
he swallowed.
I wish we could be on video.
yeah.
I was just
Hey,
smiling
what?
a couple times.
I think
Very
Brant would
happy.
agree with me. I know he agrees with me because he shares with you already. There's joy to me and Brant when we can get somebody who appreciates this spirit and give them the opportunity to drink some of these fun and cool things.
Amazing.
Makes us happy, man. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
It's appreciated.
this is why I reached out to Ethan. I thought having a younger guy on and being able
fun.
to do some of this would be cool, and I think it was very cool, Ethan, to have
Appreciate you having me on
Absolutely.
here. A ton
And
of fun.
so awesome to having Rob back in town from Houston and
This-
Jason who stepped away, but him hosting us here at his bar again tonight. So shout out to Jason who stepped away. But
It's
yeah,
going to be a yearly
great time.
trip. We're going to get
it
this podcast
should be
going.
like
You guys are going to be
love it.
regulars
6
on the
months.
show.
Yeah, I mean, I'll call in, whatever you need me to do.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
love
Hey,
it.
he's
I
hooked
love
on
it.
being on the show.
I like
I
it.
love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Well, this is a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed this.
Thanks again, Rob.
Well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey. And until our next episode, enjoy your next pour.
Oh, good times. Good times.